Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bunzl Cleaning Hygiene's 20-minute masterclass on meeting the changing demands for facility cleaning and hygiene. Today, we'll be exploring the growing expectations from staff and students and parents who want to see the adoption of modernized cleaning and hygiene programs inside their facilities. But how can you respond to these demands? Our speakers will provide clear and concise solutions you and your cleaning teams can employ to respond to these demands in an effort to enhance your hygiene protocols. Hello, I'm Alex Mavel. I'm the Senior Manager of Content Creation with Bunzl Canada. I will be your host for today's webinar. Before we jump in to our webinar and meet our speakers, let's go through a few of the housekeeping rules for today. Today's webinar is scheduled to run about 20 minutes and will be followed by a question and answer session. All attendees' microphones and cameras have been turned off, so if you'd like to ask our experts a question, please submit it in the question and answer box in the bottom right corner of your screen. During the webinar, we'll be posting some poll questions, so we encourage you to engage in that, and we want to get a better sense of what you're experiencing in your facilities and understanding the level of commitment to sustainability and some of your interest level in that. Also, lastly, this webinar is being recorded. So if you have to leave prematurely for any reason or would like to go back and watch it at a later time, we will be sharing out that link following the webinar. So today's featured speakers are all representatives of Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene, Canada's largest cleaning and hygiene specialists, serving supplies and equipment to school boards, private educational institutions, and post-secondary facilities, as well as a wide range of other sectors across the country. Our trio of speakers are some of BCH's most experienced reps, having spent decades working with education boards and school systems to improve the daily life of students, staff, and cleaning teams through robust cleaning and hygiene protocols. Excuse me. David L. Smith is the Director of Cleaning, Hygiene, and Sanitation and is Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene's key category expert for Eastern Canada. Howard Rybuck is the Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene Market and Sales Manager for Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And Dan Kaloum is a account manager and sales professional with Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene in the BC Lower Mainland. So between all three of our speakers today, our experts, they have over 100 years of experience. So we're in good hands for today. So enough of me. I'll turn it over to our experts. So Howard, if you can please take it away.
Thanks, Alex, and thank you to all of our attendees for joining today's webinar. As Alex mentioned, the goal of the webinar is to explain what industry insights are revealing about what people expect from facility cleaning programs and how those wants and expectations, demands have shifted over the last 12 to 18 months. Society's become more focused on the impact on the environment and the world around us, and people are more conscious of their purchasing decisions and how the products that they buy, how the products are packaged, how they come in, or the way they're transported impact the environment. As individuals become more aware of this, there's more and more pressure with corporations, private institutions to adopt strategies to be more sustainable. You may have heard terms like corporate social responsibility, corporate environmental responsibility, environmental social governance. These initiatives are intended to institutionalize more sustainable practices and cascade through the organizations to make facilities and operations, workers, customers safer and healthier within the spaces where they spend the majority of their time. School boards, post-secondary institutions, private education facilities are not immune to these expectations. Students, parents, teachers, staff all expect their schools to prioritize their long-term and immediate health and well-being. They want the long-term health through the use of responsible and more sustainable cleaning products. They want to reduce the impact on the environment, on air, water, and resources. and they want their immediate health and well-being, or they want to ensure their health and well-being by implemented enhanced cleaning protocols. Question is, where do we begin? How do you begin to develop your own enhanced sustainable cleaning and hygiene strategy? And how can you integrate it into existing protocols to create a healthier, safer, more sustainable cleaning program? Today we'll cover 4 key areas that help you achieve greater sustainability and provide greater cleanliness and hygiene in your facility. Some of you may already be familiar with some of these solutions, and I'm confident this is new information. There is new information that'll help you create a healthier environment for your students, teachers, and staff. Next slide. Solution 1 is introducing more sustainable and environmentally preferable chemicals in your cleaning facility. You want to get equal or even better results with chemicals that are easier and safer for the environment, safer for people in your facilities and the surfaces you're using them on. Secondly, I think if COVID taught us anything, it was the importance of air quality. Keeping the airspace clear of germs, pathogens is critical to the overall health of your facility. And Dave will tell us a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. Thirdly, autonomous equipment not only helps improve the efficiency and sustainability of your cleaning program by optimizing the amount of cleaning chemical used, but it also, they also attend to a repetitive and labor-intensive work. By doing so, they free up cleaning times for your cleaners. And lastly, we're going to talk about access to feminine hygiene products. The overall health of your students is directly linked to the access to personal hygiene products, whether it's soap, paper towel, hand sanitizer. Feminine hygiene products are no different, and free access to these products can dramatically improve attendance, focus, and overall learning. Before I dive into how you can introduce more sustainable cleaning products in your cleaning program, and it's important to note that green cleaners have come a long way. Next slide, Alex. Early products that were ineffective impacted consumer confidence, and it really led a lot of people to the conclusion that green cleaners were useless. Today, many planet-friendly cleaning products match or exceed the performance of traditional cleaning chemicals. Before, products were marketed as green, and they were just basic cleaners. But new alternatives include highly effective disinfectants, degreasers, floor care cleaners, carpet upholstery cleaners, and more. Jump ahead there, Alex. The real benefits of a more sustainable cleaning product is how they positively influence your environment, your carbon footprint, and everybody's health in your facilities. Many products today are biodegradable, meaning the chemistry is capable of being decomposed by bacteria or other living organisms. Traditional cleaning chemicals can emit, stronger odors or VOCs, and the VOCs significantly pollute the air and diminish air quality. Thirdly, planet-friendlier cleaning options can be hypoallergenic, which accounts for all those people with sensitivities in your environment. Now, you'll notice I'm using language like more sustainable, eco-friendlier, planet-friendlier. It's on purpose. The truth is there's no commercial cleaning product on the market that's 100% sustainable. They all have some level of impact on the environment, but there are some innovative producers that embrace the challenge in developing products that are green. Next slide there, Alex. When you're looking for a more sustainable product, first look at the products that have been third-party reviewed. It means they've been gone through some pretty rigorous scientific testing, and they've been verified as environmentally responsible. So look for the eco logo, look for the green seal. They're leading third-party certification bodies, and they really test products for adherence to environmental standards. A product with either an eco logo or green seal stamp will provide lesser impact on the environment and on health. Now that you understand the benefits of eco-friendlier products, understand how to identify those that are highly tested, safe, and effective. The next issue is choosing an assortment of products that best address the needs of your facility. There are so many high quality, environmentally friendly options on the market, many of which Bunzl Cleaning Hygiene carries. Our knowledgeable cleaning hygiene reps are trained to consult on facility assessment. They're trained to understand your needs and recommend an ideal assortment of products. Sustainability is a process as you'll learn. And so begin your journey by engaging one of our sales professionals. They'll help you get where you want to be. Some of the products could include our Regard Eco product line that we recently introduced after a lengthy formulation and a certification process. Regard Eco delivers all of the benefits I've discussed and including a highly concentrated solution with multiple dilution options. Jump ahead. 3.8 million Canadians suffer with food allergies, and it's been nearly 30 years since we removed food allergens from schools like peanut butter. Today, 3.4 million Canadians experience asthma. So why don't we take the same action to support them by cleaning up the air and making it a healthier space? So Dave, we'll let you talk maybe about clean air now.
Okay, thank you, Howard. And again, welcome to everybody that's joined us today. Certainly, as we came through the pandemic, we started to see a real emergence and discussion around green cleaning and sustainable products, and they truly can really impact the air quality in our buildings. There's many studies that support this, but you're spending 90% of your time indoors these days. So anything that you can do to help the air quality in your facilities, and not impact them by using some of the traditional cleaning methodology and things of that nature really makes a huge difference. So that's really some useful stuff, Howard, and certainly in classrooms it can have a huge impact on students and the living spaces. We've actually done some work prior to COVID on absenteeism in some kindergarten environments, and we were able, through introducing some of the sustainable products you were talking about, Howard, and as well changing some of the tasks and methodology to use the latest tools that are highly effective, including microfiber, things of that nature. We were able to reduce absenteeism in those classrooms by 15%, which is a huge impact because, of course, schools are largely funded these days by the number of students that are in the classroom. So it can make a big difference, and it plays out well. So, obviously we want healthier spaces. We're looking to reduce the spread of germs and illness when they do get in. And again, we all understand that from grade 3 down, that's where a lot of this is going to spread very quickly if not contained. And again, I think the real benefit in the whole thing is that the students are in a better environment to learn, and they can focus on the learning, and that just has so many wins on so many levels. So I did hear a lot through the pandemic. We've really upgraded our HVAC system, and that's fantastic, right? That's a great step forward. ASHRAE, the governing body for North America, are starting to submit some new guidelines that it may take a while to come into law or into code, but really it's important that we look at that. So even if people are upgrading to the highest MERV standards, that HVAC system is still only going to capture about 50% of what's going through the system in terms of germs and bacteria. And again, in the case of COVID, it attached itself to very small particles going through the system. So, even if we had the very best HVAC, we're not going to get it all. And that's where, you really have to consider purified air, right? And what you're doing with purified air. Air purifiers can reduce and remove contaminants up to 99.9%. There are different types of units out there, and I don't want to get too specifics, but some key things to look for. Certainly, it's good to have a HEPA filter as part of that, because it's going to trap and remove viruses and bacteria from there, and that will do essentially up to 0.03 microns, and it'll get a really good reduction in the particles going through. Carbon filters are a good feature to look for in your air purifier, because they'll absorb the odors and the gases. And there are issues with off-gassing. And I use the example of tennis balls. A lot of these tennis balls that teachers unknowingly ask for at the start of the year to help quiet their classroom and put on the feet of chairs really gas off significant amount of material. And, so there's concerns about what you're bringing in or introducing to the classroom. And, again, the best intentions, but, you want to be careful. And then again, a really good aspect of an air purifier is if they have the added feature of a UVC light, and they have the technology to kill in a kill chamber these airborne pathogens. Many of the units that were adopted in Ontario during the pandemic had these features and were very successful in helping to mitigate the problems in the schools. So, you really want to consider what's going on in your building and moving forward, because, outbreaks are going to happen. They're going to continue to happen. And as we know now, COVID largely was an airborne situation. There will be other airborne things that we were trying to contain. So, we really need to look at that air. And I can't emphasize it enough that you need to do the filter changes and upgrade things when you have the opportunity. So if you're using an air purifier, please understand whatever that particular model is, you need to really ensure you're changing your filters and doing those changes. Because at the end of the day, what we're looking for is better air in a classroom. There's a standard out there that says 4 air changes per hour is adequate. I know from our work we've been doing in testing, we were geared up to try to get more with the units that we work with, 7, 8, 9, as many as 10 air changes per hour. And that a lot of that has to do with your facility. So, work with someone you can trust to help to evaluate your facility. We have that capabilities. We have people that are a lot smarter and more learned on that than us as well, too, that we can work with to bring in to help to understand your environment and how best to do it. And again, largely a lot of the air purification we're seeing right now is units that are either standalone within a classroom, or now there's a lot of really nice units that move a lot of air in a short period of time, and they're ceiling mount. So they're even more effective at getting the end result, and they do a really good job of getting those air changes. So having covered that briefly, I would say let's talk a little bit about one of the other pieces that's near and dear to me, and that's autonomous cleaning. And we're certainly been working in this category, no different than when some of the innovative technologies we showed with in pre-COVID, we worked with, 7, 8 years before that helped us through COVID. We've been working with autonomous equipment now for the better part of 8 years. And so we've seen some of the really I would say that the initial stuff that was pioneering, it was challenging, and it didn't always work. Didn't answer the bell for us, to the evolution now where we're seeing some amazing results with some of the equipment. And our people are under more pressure than ever to do all this added work, the touch point cleaning, the very labor intensive pieces to do that. And what better way to augment what they're doing in terms of their day-to-day work, and then to take probably the most menial and labor intensive piece of their workload, which is the floor care, right? And it's also the stuff that has the most stress related injuries and things of that nature attached to it. So I'm proud to say in all the programs we've instituted so far, we're really in a cobotic situation where we're helping the staff who are stressed, to the max, on helping to take off some of that heavy floor work. If we actually, Alex, I'll get you just a step back one, please, if you don't mind. And really, it enables them to do the labor intensive things that are required. And in turn, you can get your floors swept. They can be vacuumed. They can be dust mopped. They can be washed. We have all that technology. And the technology now is meeting the challenge of going into these very small and intricate areas that we need to do. And then the real benefit from a management standpoint, you're getting all this valuable data that you can verify that the work got done. So it's verifying that these areas are done, because that's a big question. Coming through the pandemic, people are expecting, how do I know this area got cleaned to whatever standard you're shooting for? So as I said, what's the most time consuming, labor intensive piece of their day? It's the floor care. And again, we've got the morale has increased significantly. People embrace these machines because it's making their life easier and they're able to manage their workload. So really, some really positive stories coming out of this, and we're very excited. Alex, I'll get you to move ahead. So as I said, there's a process. You have to introduce them to your team. And again, I'm not going to belabor. We've covered a number of these points here, in my little talk, and we're partnering, the robot with your staff, as I say, in a cobotic situation. I'm now going to turn this over to my colleague, Dan Colombe from BC, or as I call him, Mr. School Board in British Columbia. Dan, the floor is yours, sir.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, David. I appreciate it. The access to feminine hygiene products improves menstrual equality and overall personal hygiene. The demand for free access to feminine hygiene products within public facilities, workplaces, and other institutions has grown dramatically in recent years. And it appears that we are approaching that tipping point where the availability of these products will be widely expected. Similar to hand soap, paper towel, and toilet tissue in washrooms, they are going to be expecting feminine hygiene products to be made available. So why is menstrual equality important? The access to feminine hygiene products ensures the dignity and safe, healthy hygiene. Some interesting stats. The average lifetime cost in the US, which is about 10 years of menstruation or 3,500 days for the average woman's life, is about $1,800, which is the value of about 17,000 tampons or pads. A study from Plan International Canada found that among women aged 18 to 25, 83% felt that their periods have held them back from fully participating in activities. 70% have missed school, work, or other social events because of their period. 1 in 5 girls and people who menstruate in Canada struggle to afford menstrual products. Menstrual equity in Canada means providing equal, fair, and accessible access to tampons and sanitary napkins for those who need them in a dignified and shame-free manner. Understanding the federal legislation. Now in Canada, federally regulated workplaces will be required to offer free period products in workplace washrooms. Changes to the Canadian Labour Code will soon make menstrual care products mandatory in many restrooms. These changes will be effective December 15th of 2023, where all federally regulated workplaces will be required to offer free menstrual products to workers and visitors within. So this will include air transportation, airlines, airports, and aircraft operations. All road transportation services, including marine, shipping, ferries, and railways. It's going to include all banks, including authorized foreign banks, radio, television, and telecommunications organizations, and most federal crown corporations, as an example, Canada Post. It's also going to include all courier services, federal and public services, and Parliament. So what's to expect next? Provincially, already provinces across Canada, such as Ontario, BC, Manitoba, Newfoundland, and Labrador, and several others have begun programs to make period products available within school systems. These provinces state that the rising costs of period products present a significant barrier to access, and also while period stigma can lead to shame, anxiety, and poor decisions that impact their health. Providing equitable access to menstrual products with dignity and respect will ensure that no student is left behind simply because they are menstruating. As well as school divisions, some provinces are providing free menstrual products to funded independent schools, as well as provincial agencies such as domestic violence shelters and resource centers, and also other specialized programs. Independent businesses, even though not currently legally mandated, are becoming familiar with this new legislation and beginning to prioritize the provision of free menstrual products in the workplace as they drive for menstrual equality increases. By providing free menstrual products, companies can contribute to creating an inclusive and supportive environment for all employees. So, what about menstrual care for your facility? If you haven't already begun the program, now is the time to consider. Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene has the necessary products and dispensers to respond to these changes. We cater to the away-from-home market with dispensers that offer easy and flexible mounting on any type of surface, wall material, or construction. We consult on sanitary napkin and tampon dispensers that provide no charging dispensing. So you can call us for a free, no-obligation consultation on how to create a period-positive space in your washroom to ensure you are compliant with the new legislation. Now I'd like to throw this back at you, Howard. Howard, you're on mute.
Oh, thanks, Dan. I think it's important to note that everything we've discussed today are elements and building blocks of a comprehensive, enhanced, safe, and more sustainable cleaning program. There's an efficient and proven method to establishing and implementing these programs. Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene uses our very own Confident Clean program to assess, design the appropriate program for your facility. You can seamlessly implement it into your program. Training, demos, analytics can ensure customized cleaning protocols are being done effectively and efficiently. If you want to learn more about our Confident Clean program and its benefits, speak to one of our knowledgeable reps. They can do a free assessment on your facility and really help you after assess, design. They can help you implement, optimize, and validate that sustainability program for your facility. Thanks very much for joining us today, and now I'll turn it back to you, Alex.
Thank you very much, Howard. Thank you, David. Thank you, Dan. I think that was fantastic information for everybody, and I hope everybody who's attended our webinar here today was able to learn at least something. I'm sure there's plenty of great information that people will be able to walk away with there. One thing I wanted to note is everything that our experts here today spoke about, you have an opportunity to learn about in person This month and in October and later in the fall, and then again in the new year, we are hosting Bunzl Cleaning Hygiene Innovation Showcases. This week we have one in Edmonton. That's on Thursday. Next week there's one in Kingston, and then we have another one in Montreal and one in Calgary in October. So if you'd like to learn about the details and to register for those events, please go to the Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene events page, and you can register there. So as you see on the screen, feel free to reach out to any of our experts, Dave, Howard, or Dan, to ask them any questions, or you can, again, go to the Contact Us page on the Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene website, where you can, ask any questions and reach out and be connected with an expert or a sales professional there. So that leads us to our Q&A. So I just remind everybody, if you have any questions for our experts here, please submit them in the Q&A area in the bottom right corner of your screen. So yeah, as we go through some of these questions, I'll pose one here for David, I guess, but we'll be open, or sorry, for Howard, and we can open it up to the rest of the panel. But wondering about the cost comparison between traditional cleaning products and these newer, more sustainable products. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Firstly, I think going to a program with dilution control is always going to save a facility money. Believe it or not, there's still all kinds of people free pouring chemicals and not following proper dilution. But secondly, not only are many of our eco-friendly or green products today as good or better than traditional cleaning chemicals, they're actually less expensive. And so I think that you'll find in your sustainability journey that there is money to be saved. Of course, we believe you want to assess your facility, design a program with your Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene rep, and then they'll help you implement it as you go forward. But I think for the most part, you'll be pleased with the cost of these, friendlier cleaning alternatives.
And I'll just actually add something there, and I'm sure some of you can probably add to this. But I was out on a job meeting with a customer not too long ago, and we observed that even with the dilution systems, some cleaning staff weren't even necessarily aware that they started adding additional water to the actual mixture after it was diluted based on the dilution system. So it was interesting to see that there's opportunities for additional education and everything, and these systems really are designed to create the perfect dilution for the application.
Alex, I would add too that in the 80s, when there was a real emergence around green cleaning, we saw a lot of what I call greenwashing, and actually I think some manufacturers tried to capitalize on the momentum and probably charged a premium for a lot of these products. Thankfully now, when you add no color, when you take out fragrances and you're taking things away, it should cost you less. And so, we've come down to being cost neutral, and in some cases actually save, some significant money on what you were using, and fewer products too, through our engineered dilution controls and our eco-friendly program. So you're cleaning with less and better, and at the end of the day, you're left with a cleaner building. A lot of these products are actually proving to be more effective than some of the traditional cleaners that people were using. So that's a huge benefit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kind of dovetailing on that, how readily available are, not just the Regard product we showed, the Regard Eco product we showed, but just any chemical producers sustainable products. How readily available are they? Are they kind of still 10% of the market, or are they quite popular, quite available, that if somebody wants to make the switch, they're not having to wait to get access to that product?
Alex, I think our manufacturers left their machines on overnight. Our warehouses are full. So get in touch with your Bunzl Cleaning Hygiene rep, and we can start tomorrow.
That's great to hear. I wanted to jump to a question for Dan, actually. I think is there a concern, or do people wonder how the access to free menstrual products impact their school board budgets? Is that a concern? And how what is the reality of that situation?
That's a great question. In British Columbia, the K-12, it was provincially mandated that the K-12 schools start providing free product back in 2019. And I recall before it came out, and even shortly after, there was an enormous concern about the impact of providing this free product to the operational budgets to the school boards. And it was a valid concern, and even I shared that same concern with them. But what we found over the implementation of this program is that initially there was a little bit of a spike, but it leveled off. What we found is that it's much like free paper towel, free hand soap, free toilet tissue. People naturally resorted back to using just what they needed. The novelty of having free product was gone. So we feel now that really it's cost effective. There's not a problem, and that initial impact, cost impact, is gone. It's leveled off.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think another question for Dave here is going back to the autonomous equipment conversation. I'm sure there's a lot of concern, cleaning managers and school boards here concerned from their cleaning teams about autonomous equipment, over concern that it could replace jobs and labor. What do you tell people who raise those concerns, and how do you reassure them?
Well, Alex, you're right. It is a very real concern. Initially, when you show up and you're testing equipment in a lot of these facilities, the reaction can be somewhat negative, or actually even aggressive, as we've encountered. I'm proud to say that not one of the programs we've started this year, calendar year, have we replaced anybody or any job. Really, these people were pushed to the max with the exodus of the baby boomers from the cleaning industry during the pandemic, as well with trying to replace people with new people to start. It just doesn't happen. I have a school board that I work with that we used to train 50, 60 casual custodians every year for summer cleanup. This year, as they went through the process, and they would normally get hundreds of applications and whittle it down to qualified candidates, that particular board ended up with 8 people after a process where they normally would get 50. In addition to that, they have a number of other people that are exiting the program this year due to retirement and other things, and they're struggling to meet the labor needs. They just don't have it. So really, that I think has spurred on people's interest in looking at the equipment. And again, one of the things that Bunzl does really well, and these 2 gentlemen on the phone with me today are great examples. We've been in the industry a lot of years. They truly understand the cleaning programs and what people are trying to achieve. So they're able to help dovetail, augment, whatever term you want to use, but introduce these type of programs and add this equipment without people sort of missing a beat. And so when you empower people to work with you on these that are, And, you know, it may have been the same person that was using an auto scrubber every night. They're now responsible for the care and the PM stuff that has to happen with these machines. And they look at it as an ally as opposed to any kind of negative. And the morale, we've seen significant improvements in morale where people were just feeling overwhelmed during the pandemic. So a lot of really good success stories. And I mean, I don't want to share people's names at this point without, you know, their permission, but, you know, there's all kinds of good, good success stories that we can share down the road if people are interested in talking to their colleagues and their peers.
Excellent. I appreciate that, Dave. Like I said, this has been recorded, so if you'd like to go back and follow up on any of the details that we discussed here today, we will share that link out in the coming days. And yeah, also, if there's any more information you would like to know or follow up on, please reach out to your local Bunzl Cleaning and Hygiene rep, and they would be more than happy to assist you with that. So thank you very much for attending, and we look forward to speaking with you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.